My name is Nicole Yalowitz. I'm an artist here at Lowe Arts and Entertainment in Huntsville, Alabama. I am primarily a painter. I also do wearable art, fashion design, and I make gnomes out of wax that I pour here in my studio every day. This is a painting of a hand knocking, and it's in one of my favorite techniques, the dry brush technique. I get to build up a lot of paint. There's a lot of layers. It just takes a really long time and a lot of paint. You just skip the paintbrush lightly across the canvas. All of these colors are going to hopefully shine through in a way that's tantalizing for the viewer. I recently finished a portrait series of famous iconic figures, and now I'm working on landscapes, primarily abstract spaces. This painting is a landscape, an imaginary landscape with heavy water in the front and real ethereal clouds up at the top. I'm trying to work with the differences that we expect in nature. We expect mountains to be heavy and for water to be thin. And I'm trying to kind of throw those textures on their head and see what happens. I'm trying to just express everything with pure color. I started doing gnomes shortly after I graduated from college because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to paint. I wanted to broach some kind of difficult subject matter without using humans, so the gnomes became the kind of surrogate stand-in, and I like to put a lot of humor in my work. I'm a very punny kind of person, so for me the gnomes were kind of just like a little easier to handle than maybe a human in the same situation would be. I think there's a few different themes in my work. There's fantasy, which is when I paint clowns and ballerinas and robots and all of these things. I think that a lot of my childhood, I wasn't able to explore these kinds of things, and so I'm exploring them in my adulthood, because that's one thing that all of us humans have in common, is that we were all children at one time. And so when there is something that has a childlike quality, it's very visceral for us, and we can connect to it more easily than almost any other theme. I love costume jewelry, the idea that you can put something on yourself that's shiny and you feel shiny. So I found a lot of costume jewelry and just little bits of shiny pieces and put them together on things, and they always grab people's eye. I recently bought someone's unicorn collection. So for $20, I have 2 large boxes of every kind of unicorn you can ever imagine. Unicorn ashtrays, unicorn music boxes. A friend and I are going to come together and make a fantastic landscape out of them. And I think it's really about grabbing people's imagination and seeing what could be. This drawing is called In the City. I received a Europe grant to study abroad based upon this drawing. I went out and I drew people, and then I came back and from my memory just put together this drawing. I wanted you to feel the busyness and the hustle and bustle of the city. The series The Great and Powerful Oz started when I did a painting of Freud. And there's all of these famous people, primarily men, who stick out in our minds because of either film or books that they have written or technological advances, science that they have discovered. So I wanted to take this overall view of how we feel we know these people and just use the stereotypes, just use the information that I have to make a portrait of that person. What I've tried to do in my series is to take things that are around us all the time, like the media or famous people or things that we see in everyday life that I find beauty in. For me, it's just about finding beauty and maybe getting some kind of message across to people. I may not always know what that message is, but the paint seems to know. I can say what I hope the future holds for my art. I hope I grow as an artist and as a person for many years to come through my art. I hope that people look at my work and find something beautiful or find something out about themselves when they look at my work. I'm not really sure what the future holds for me and my art, and that's a good thing.